Greeting from Edu Aspirants, our YouTube channel to ACE Academics, competitive exams, entrance exams, and also for enrichment of knowledge. In the series of our videos on India, chapter 21, this is the sixth video, which is the last for law and justice. Election laws and electoral reforms acts for the conduct of elections to Parliament, state legislatures, and to the offices of the President and the Vice President of India are the Representation of the People's Act 1950, the Representation of the People's Act 1951, the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act 1952, the Delimitation Act 2002, the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Council Act 2005, and the Tamil Nadu Legislative Council Act 2010. These are administered by the Legislative Department, Ministry of Law and Justice. The electoral system of the country, which is also called the first part, the post system of elections, that means the one who gets the maximum number of votes in an election is declared elected, is completing over 70 years reforms of electoral laws which have been continuous. In the light of the experience gained during elections, recommendations of the Election Commission, the proposals from different political parties, eminent citizens, and the deliberations in the legislatures and the various public bodies, the successive governments have taken a number of measures from time to time to bring about electoral reforms. At present, the issue of electoral reforms in its entirety has been referred to the Law Commission of India. The Representation of the People's Amendment Act 2008 replaced the first schedule and the second schedule to the Representation of the People's Act 1950, including other amendments. A new section 8A was also inserted in the Act, which provided that the President of India is satisfied that the situation and the conditions prevailing in the states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur or Nagaland are conducive for the conduct of delimitation exercise. He may, by order, rescind the said deferment orders issued under Section 10A of the Delimitation Act 2002 in relation to any of those states and provide for the conduct of delimitation exercise in the states by the Election Commission of India. Electronic voting machines, EVMs. The use of EVMs was started in the country on experiment basis in 1982. However, EVMs were used in all polling stations across the country for the first time during the general elections to the Lok Sabha in only 2004. The EVMs were developed jointly by two public sector undertakings, which are Bharat Electronics Limited Bengaluru BEL and Electronics Corporation of India Limited Hyderabad ECIL, which was in 1980. Of electors' photo identity cards, EPICs, was started by Election Commission in 1993 throughout the country. The electoral roll is the basis issue of epics to the registered electors. The electoral rolls are normally revised every year with 1st January of the year as the qualifying date. Every Indian citizen who attains the age of 18 years or above on this date is eligible for inclusion in the electoral roll and can apply for the same. 25th January has been declared as the National Voters' Day to focus on enrollment of voters and making epic. The Representation of the People Amendment Bill 2010 A provides that every citizen of India whose name is not included in the electoral roll and who has not acquired the citizenship of any other country and who is absenting from his place of ordinary residence in India owing to his employment, education or otherwise outside India, whether temporarily or not, shall be entitled to have his name registered, his or her, in the electoral roll in the constituency in which his place of residence in India, as mentioned in his passport, is located. B provides that the electoral registration officer shall make corrections of entries in electoral rolls and inclusion of names in electoral rolls after proper verification. And C confer power upon the central government to specify, after consulting the Election Commission of India by rules, the time within which the name of the persons referred to in subparagraph above shall be registered in the electoral roll, and in the manner and procedure for registering of such persons in the electoral roll is also given. Reservation of seats for scheduled castes and tribes. Several special provisions were incorporated in our constitution, that is, the provision related to the reservation of seats for these communities in the Lok Sabha and the legislative assemblies of all the states. It is given in Articles 330 and 332 of the Constitution. Adequate safeguards were provided to persons belonging to the Anglo-Indian community in the country in our Constitution under Article 331 of the Constitution. You must remember these articles. By way of nomination of 2 persons of that community in the House of the People. House of the People is the Lok Sabha by the President of India. Likewise, provision for nomination of 1 member each by the governor from the same community, wherever necessary, belonging to the Anglo-Indian community in the state legislative assemblies, if the governor so considers that they were inadequately represented through the elections. That was also incorporated. This brings us to the end of the 6th and the final video on Law and Justice, chapter 21 of India. Please subscribe, like, share, and do press the bell icon for updates. Thank you for viewing. Keep revising.